I don't know anything at all, but here's what I think I know. Welcome to News Like Jager. Whoo, feels weird saying that. That was a little video series I did myself back in like 2018 on Facebook, just talking about random topics, some wrestling, sports, music, what have you. Kind of a precursor to this podcast, just a way to get content out. And Beaumont and I have decided in 2022 the Brainbuster boys want to be producing more YouTube content because that's not something we did much really at all last year. So we're each going to kind of both have our own solo video projects here. So I figured I'd keep the name News Like Jager, which is also my Instagram handle. And it's just a fun little pun. But I am going to be getting started today with my inaugural video here reviewing Royal Rumble 2003. Tis the season, Royal Rumble season right now. And the reason I chose this for my first topic is I've actually been watching SmackDown from after SummerSlam 2002 up until this point, just kind of something to put on, as I'm laying down for bed or what have you. And I know, that's such a great era, the SmackDown 6. Paul Heyman was running things at that point, a high watermark of the product at that point, specifically on SmackDown, as they're entering the ruthless aggression era. And it's just something that, I've certainly seen. I'd seen this show before, and I've seen, handfuls of matches, but never really watched SmackDown consistently, like, week by week. And, certainly skipped some matches, the likes of Bill Demott and other jobbers that I just don't care about. So I'm not really watching the entirety of every show, but it's been a hell of a journey. And, just kind of got up to the point of Royal Rumble 2003 recently. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll review this for my first video. And I'm sure my hair is going to be doing me no favors at all throughout this. So I'll probably be fidgeting with it and whatnot. But you know what? Here we are. Not the most visually appealing thing right now. I don't really have a good machine to be doing video editing, but Bo's going to help me out with some of that. Maybe get some little graphics on here, and hopefully something that, the quality of just this production will improve as I do it. And you're not just looking at me and a blank wall and a microphone and my dumb face, but hey, January 19th, 2003 in the Fleet Center, Boston, Massachusetts, also the home of one of my favorite shows as a kid, Wrestlemania 14, and the Boston crowd was hot, at least for the things that they cared about. We start with a nice video package with kind of all the key players at this point. Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Jericho, Michaels, et cetera, really talking about the road to WrestleMania, which always begins at the Royal Rumble, and the importance of that and the importance of this night for the winner of the Royal Rumble to go on and main event WrestleMania 19 at Safeco Field in Seattle, one of the best WrestleManias of all time. And the show kicks off with a special winner enters the Royal Rumble match, and the loser is out. And actually, before that, I just want to show off my topical tee here. Right, acute, obtuse, Kurt. Fun shirt there, which Kurt Angle is in a big match here. But back to the task at hand. Brock Lesnar had lost his championship to the Big Show at Survivor Series after Paul Heyman turned on him, and he was suspended for a bit by Stephanie McMahon for just being a madman. But this is kind of the first Brock babyface run, as he was a big heel after taking the belt off The Rock at SummerSlam. So the fans had really started getting behind him, and Brock Lesnar defeats the Big Show in 6 minutes, 15 seconds. Like I said, this rivalry had been simmering. Heyman had been doing everything in his power to ensure that Brock Lesnar would not be the WWE championship and would never win that belt again, even aligning himself with Kurt Angle in a surprise at Armageddon when Kurt Angle took the belt off the Big Show, who he was also managing. It's all kind of confusing, but Heyman was just at his best here, just doing everything in his power to keep Brock Lesnar down after, like I said, he had managed him and brought him to the title and turned his back on him. But this was, a nice little quick 6 minute, 15-minute match to start the show. As Lesnar was coming out, Michael Cole said he's pacing like a caged animal. And Taz is like, yeah, Heyman better get his keister out of the ring. And like I said, Brock was the big baby face. I think everyone knew he was going over here. The crowd was super hot for Brock. Big Show was dominant early. It's a 6-minute match. So for a few minutes, at one point, Heyman gets up on the apron and Brock's able to whip him in the ring. And he's about to give him the F5, but it runs into a choke slam from the Big Show into a 2 count. Heyman's pleading on the apron. Big Show goes for another choke slam. Brock's able to counter, push Big Show into Heyman, and then hit Big Show with the F5 for the 1, 2, 3. Given that this was just such a short match, I thought the intensity was pretty good. The crowd, like I said, was hot. They were ready for the Brock Lesnar ascension, and more to come on that later on, no doubt. But I was entertained. Obviously, I've been watching these, all the shows leading up to this and, have a pretty good grasp of everything that's going on. And, a nice zippy opener between 2 big boys with some big stakes, not some, not the stakes that you're used to. God, this is just awful. But was trying to make a joke and failed. But, like I said, good opener. I'm going to give it 2 3/4 stars. I thought they did the most with the time they were given, and just a pretty solid match. So we keep it rolling to a backstage promo with Chris Jericho in the heel role here, and he's got a simmering feud with Shawn Michaels, and he's interviewed by Terry Runnels. And Jericho got to pick his Royal Rumble spot, actually, and he said he was forced to pick number 2 because Vince McMahon gave Shawn Michaels number 1. Jericho wearing his "Don't Be an Ass Clown" shirt here. And he basically says that he's going to win this and toss out 29 other men and main event WrestleMania for the 2nd straight year, as he did at WrestleMania 18 against Triple H, even though that match largely overshadowed by The Rock and Hulk Hogan, of course. But we get to the 2nd match of the night for the World Tag Team Championships, in which the Dudley Boys, recently reunited after breaking up in 2012, defeat Lance Storm and William Regal in 7 minutes, 26 seconds. Storm and Regal come out with their Canadian and British flags, respectively. I guess so. This was a Raw match, so I hadn't seen all this leading up. But I guess the gimmick was that Regal and Storm were using brass knuckles and other foreign objects a lot. Just classic stuff by those chaps. Regal always just one of the best slimy little heels. But this match, another zippy one again. The crowd was into it. Pretty good pace, good energy. Their crowd was psyched for the Dudley Boys, like I said. And, as we're getting down the stretch, the Dudley Boys appear to be going for the 3D, but they end up just hitting them with a flapjack after the classic flying headbutt to the testicles that the Dudley Boys used to do. And I love Jim Ross, not this line, but just one that he said back at WrestleMania 17 for that move, is "This will adversely affect your sexual drive." Just something that always stuck with me with that move. But then it brings out Chief Morley, aka Val Venus. I don't really remember this character at all because I didn't really see that time. He comes out as Regal gets the brass knuckles, and then he gets hit by the 3D. He loses the knucks, or the knuckle duster, as we like to call it these days. Devon gets him, clock Storm, 1, 2, 3 for the win, and the Dudley Boys become 16-time tag team champions, not just in the WWE. But in ECW and other promotions that they'd been a part. I don't even know if there were any others other than ECW, but 16 times is a lot of times. I know another 16-time world champion. Woo! But yeah, just solid stuff here, and we're going to get a couple not so solid stuffs before we really bring the energy back up. Then we get a promo video of Nathan Jones, an Australian gentleman, not a gentleman, who'd been in prison for armed robbery and all these terrible crimes they're mentioning. He's talking about some nonsense. I don't really remember. This guy was obviously brought in with a lot of hype. He's a big dude, but really never got over. I know his biggest moment, he was supposed to be teaming with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 19 following this, I believe, against Test in the A-Train. I didn't research beforehand, but I know there was a thing where basically Nathan Jones wasn't even in the match for a long time, and he ends up coming out at the end and helping the Undertaker win. But it's honestly probably one of Undertaker's lowest points during his big streak at WrestleMania, other than likely WrestleMania 9, the Giant Gonzalez match, which we reviewed on an earlier episode of the Brainbuster Boys, the chloroform rag that knocks Undertaker out. I believe that was his only it was a disqualification win for the Undertaker back at. I'm going on so many tangents here, but hey, that's what I do. And I didn't really preface that I watch so much fucking wrestling all the time that this is just a nice little outlet for me to be doing this type of thing. So, hey, I'm going to go 2 3/4 stars again on this second match. Just they were so short, both under 8 minutes, really, that, those types of matches kind of have a ceiling when you're doing some ratings. But again, both enjoyable for what they were and the time they were given. But this next match certainly was not, even though it was given significantly less time, and that is Tori Wilson defeating Dawn Marie in the stepdaughter versus stepmother match in 3 minutes 35 seconds. So anyone who watched SmackDown back at this time can't forget the legendary story with Al Wilson, Tori's father, getting wooed and eventually married to Dawn Marie, who was Tori's rival, who was really just doing it all to get under Tori's skin. There's no way she really loved that old man. I mean, come on. But this feud went over a number of months for sure. It culminated, first with the wedding of Dawn Marie and Al Wilson, which Dawn Marie wanted to do in the nude. But Stephanie McMahon said, you ain't doing that. This is national television, baby. But she does end up doing it in her bra and panties and ends up stripping Al Wilson down to just his little skivvies. And very strange stuff. Commentary, Taz and Michael Cole were having some fun with it then, but really weird stuff. And then the next week, there's the honeymoon with Dawn and Al Wilson, which unfortunately ends in the untimely death of Mr. Wilson due to a heart attack from, frankly, too much sex. They show videos of Al in the shower with Dawn, and he's just worn the fuck out. But you know what? He keeps going and he keeps going, and then his heart finally stops. And it's a very, very corny storyline here. I just can imagine Vince McMahon going, "Oh, he's going to die just from having sex too many times. It'll be great." It was not, but there was some laughs along the way over the 3 months or so that the story was going on. But I'm really nothing to say about the match. It's short, it's not sweet, it's done. Tori gets the W. I really don't even remember any specifics and didn't write anything down. So that is that. I'm going to give it the dud. 0 stars here. But like I said, some fun along the way in the storyline leading up to this. And fortunately, it is over. And then we get a backstage scene with Stephanie McMahon in the babyface role as the SmackDown general manager. She had some heel tendencies when she suspended Brock Lesnar and whatnot, but largely in a babyface role and doing a pretty good job. The whole gimmick here is that her and Raw general manager Eric Bischoff were feuding. This was the beginning of the brand extension, so separate rosters, separate GMs. There was a lot of things leading up to this show where Bischoff was on SmackDown or Stephanie was on Raw, just fighting over who's going to be on what roster or making trades or whatever. It was decently compelling stuff, but Stephanie stumbles upon Bischoff talking with the Viper, Randy Orton, a young Viper with a full head of hair, and basically goes up to him and, says, "Hello, how you doing?" But then Bischoff quickly shoos him away, like, let's talk about this later, Randy. And Stephanie basically says she's coming up to Eric to say goodbye because Vince was going to fire him in 30 days, but wanted to ask Eric about the bombshell that he was going to drop, and he says it was going to be an atomic bombshell. Oh, Dios mío. But Stephanie said she has a bombshell of her own, and her job is secure because she's a McMahon. And blood is thicker than urine, she says. Very interesting. does Bischoff like the pee-pee? I don't know. I didn't really get this, but anywho, and then Bischoff's like, well, I think I think money is much thicker than blood. A decent little segment here. And then we got a promo from Sean O'Hare, who was a guy I literally don't remember at all. And unfortunately read that he committed suicide in 2014. So rest in peace, Sean O'Hare. Just tragic stuff. Nothing really to say about the promo. But then we get just another bad match here. For the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw, we get Scott Steiner, big Papa Pump, holla if you hear me, defeating Triple H with Ric Flair by disqualification in 17 minutes. Felt like 17 hours. Boy, this was slow and plodding and not exciting in the least. And I think Steiner was pretty new to WWE at this point. He came over later than a lot of the other WCW superstars, and they tried to put him in a babyface role, which clearly did not work. And boy, like I said, this match was just terrible. And I bet I hadn't seen it in quite a long time. And I don't think I'm ever going to see it again. Just not good. Triple H was the champ. He was, I believe, gifted the championship by Eric Bischoff when the brand split happened, just awarded it to him. And you've got Steiner coming in as the new big baby face. And this match, like I said, just did not work at all. It was all about basically showing that Triple H couldn't beat Steiner, because I know he did a promo I saw in the video package prior that he's beaten everyone in the WWE that they have to offer, and Steiner comes out, but you haven't beat me. That was a terrible Scott Steiner. I'm not even going to try and do it. But yeah, like I said, just bad stuff. Although it was funny in the promo package beforehand that they had Triple H and Steiner had an arm wrestling contest, a pose down, and a push-up contest leading up to this. Just riveting stuff. Let's see. Earl Hebner, the referee, says he knows them both and he's not going to put up with any crap. I don't have too many notes on this. I did get some on the back half where it just really stunk. There's a point where Steiner does a suplex and he kind of falls and the crowd starts booing. Like, it's just bad stuff. Triple H is bleeding like a stuffed pig and pretty much doing anything in his power, he and Ric Flair both, to either get counted out or disqualified so he can retain the championship. He doesn't care. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about taking the L. He just wants to keep the championship. And there's a part after he's bleeding and they're out in the crowd for what feels like 30 minutes. I don't know how there's not a count out. It's forever. Flair basically is telling Earl Hebner, stop the match because of the blood, and blah, blah, blah. And then Triple H throws the ref out of the ring. Earl Hebner questions whether he's going to DQ him, but he does not. And then Triple H ends up getting the sledgehammer, chucks Earl Hebner out of the way, and ends up hammering Steiner with it. Earl reticently calls for the bell. I mean, what's he going to do at this point? Just terrible stuff. Because, again, the count out should have happened an hour ago. They were doing anything they could to stop the match for Triple H to keep the belt, but it just took that damn sledgehammer. And then after the match, he tries to attack him with it further, but Steiner's able to get it and hammer both Triple H and Flair. And boy, oh boy, the crowd did not give a shit. And this was stinky. I'll give it a 0.5 star for some, unintentional comedy. I guess it would be Flair acting like a fool and the crowd kind of shitting on the match. And it was just bad. I would only recommend this match if you want to be bored, and I'd rather stare at a wall, probably. No, I'm kidding. That's just something my landlord says that's kind of fun. But let's move on. After these couple of stinkers, before we really start humming with this show, I got something that's not a stinker. In fact, just the opposite. You may have seen on our Twitter, if you heard our recent episode, the BBBs have entered a 1-month trial partnership with Manscaped. You can't really read that, but this is the Shed Nice traveling toiletry bag that comes with the perfect package 4.0. And I'm going to get into this, and cheers to 2022 and resolutions that you can actually keep. How about having clean and shiny balls all year round? Ooh, our partners at Manscaped are here to save your balls this year and make the ball drop into 2022 the cleanest and sexiest ever. Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And with our exclusive offer, go to manscaped.com and use code BBB for 20% off all products and free shipping. So like I said, this was part of the Performance Package 4.0. You got the shed, which is funny because my first kind of fake podcast was called the Tool Shed. Shout out to my boy Chris Thomas. We would just basically run a phone recorder and just talk about whatever was on our minds late at night after we'd been imbibing in some beers and whatnot. It was pretty fun. But hey, the Performance Package 4.0 comes with the Lawnmower 4.0. You hear that buzzing, baby? And it's even got a light on there as well, so you can see exactly what you're doing down there. I have not had the pleasure of using this bad boy yet, but I very, very much look forward to. It's got advanced skin-safe technology, which reduces nicks and cuts on your delicate nuts. Ooh. And yeah, the 4000K LED spotlight will shine a light to the promised land that 2022 looks to be. But a couple of products that I have used are the Crop Reviver Ball Toner and the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. I know my lighting isn't exactly great here, but hey, here they are. And these I cannot recommend highly enough. If you're someone who maybe experiences a little chafing as I do, the ball deodorant, oh boy, not only does it prevent the chafing, it smells great and lasts all day. You know, after you shower and dry off, just slap some on and apply it down to your nether regions, and you won't think twice about it, and you'll be like, damn, that was good. And then the Crop Reviver, just a nice little spritz. Boy, I love it. You know, again, just keeps everything fresh and clean and smooth down there. Yeah, and it's just going to be a big boost to the confidence in the new year for you. But again, go to manscaped.com, promo code BBB for 20% off and free shipping. Try it now. And we are back to the show, and the best part of the show, and the part that reflects my shirt. If I can get my damn phone back open where my notes are. We have the WWE Championship match in which Kurt Angle defeats Chris Benoit in 17 minutes, 18 seconds. Ooh, this one, as my boy High Five Tom would say, was a fuck of a match. And before I get into it, I just want to say, obviously, do not condone anything Chris Benoit did. I know there's a lot of people who can't even really watch his matches anymore. I'm not one of them. Obviously, I don't look upon them as fondly as I used to, but I can separate everything that happened and just still enjoy his matches. And boy, this is one of the best he ever had and one of the best Kurt Angle ever had. It started with, and this is newly the Team Angle era, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. This was new into their reign. They start shoving Chris Benoit in the beginning. It's a bit of a slow start, but the intensity is there. The urgency is there. And these two just have great chemistry. They'd had a rivalry for several months prior. They were actually tag team champions, the first WWE tag team champions on SmackDown. Stephanie McMahon forced them to team together. It worked until it didn't work. Obviously, it all broke apart at some point, but you know, just some good storytelling here. I believe they had a singles match back at Unforgiven. I think Benoit won that too, because I know kind of the whole thing coming in was that Kurt Angle has Benoit's number. And is that going to be the case here? Let's figure out. So, like I said, a bit of not really slow, but just, you know, it's not to the level that they get to, which is fucking sizzling here later on. I think things start to turn when Benoit hits a big DDT on the apron. And this was before apron moves were, as common as they are today. He eventually gets Kurt in a sharpshooter, an ode to, the old Hart family, obviously, as he was trained in the dungeon by Stu Hart. Both these guys do lots of suplexes, and everything in this match is so damn smooth and hard hitting. And there's like some back and forth suplexes, which culminates in the classic double clothesline spot when both men are down. And then boy, oh boy, do we get cooking from here, baby. More suplexes coming here. Benoit's up on the top, and then one fell swoop, Kurt just like a fucking lightning bolt is able to jump from the ground right up to the top and hit the flipping German suplex in one fell swoop. The crowd's going ballistic. Well, yeah, they're going nuts the whole time. Benoit is able to counter an angle slam into a crippler crossface. Angle gets the ropes. Benoit slaps on the ankle lock, Kurt's move, and Kurt's able to counter it into his own ankle lock. This is a sign of things to come. And then another crossface by Benoit, but Angle's able to get out of it into an immediate angle slam for a great near fall at 2. Again, just the counters here are so smooth and great and believable. Both guys selling their asses off this whole match. And after all these counters, more suplexes and counters of suplexes and some no-selling suplexes, just a frenzy of suplexes. But Chris Benoit hits the definitive one as he flips Angle over and he lands face first on the mat, and he sells it like he was just put out. He's done. I didn't want to use another term there. This is weird. But then the crowd is really, really in a frenzy here as Kurt is selling it. Both men are down. Benoit gets up and hits a very long diving headbutt. I think for a 2 count. And then Kurt is able to slingshot Benoit into the corner, into another angle slam and another kick out at 2. And then eventually Chris Benoit is able to lock in the crossface again, and he's really wrenching it here. And this is the moment where I think the fans are thinking, oh my God, he's finally going to win. But yet it does not happen, as Kurt is able to reverse it again into the ankle lock. And I think Chris Benoit tries to get out of it like 4 different times, but Angle is unrelenting and has it locked in, and he's eventually, and Chris Benoit's reaching for the ropes. Angle pulls him back in, and then he takes it to the ground, and that is too much as Benoit has to tap out. Holy shit. What an absolute firecracker. I did not sell enough just how insane these submission counters were, especially the ones down the stretch. Again, just the speed and smoothness and efficiency and brutality, even in submissions, everything just looked so fucking good. If you've never seen the match, just watch it. If you can watch Benoit stuff, I understand if you can't, but holy shit, this is something special indeed. And Kurt gets out of the ring by Team Angle helps him out of the ring. And then Chris Benoit actually gets his music played and a big standing ovation. Again, great moment at that time, no doubt about it, for Chris Benoit. Proved that he can hang in the main event, in which next year at the Royal Rumble, he's able to win and thrust himself into the WrestleMania 20 main event against Shawn Michaels and Triple H in another incredible match where he wins the title. But just unbelievable stuff here. Again, I can't recommend this match high enough. I'm going to give it, I would say 4 3/4 stars. But you know what? This is my scale. So I'm going to go 4 7/8 stars, just shy of the 5-star mark for me. I think the beginning could have been perhaps done a little better. This is not a complaint. I mean, by God, it's just an incredible match. But you know what? To get 5 stars, you got to know it's 5 stars, and just something just didn't feel 5-y to me here. I believe Dave Meltzer also gave it 4 3/4. Many people have called it 5 stars. I think Taz did right after the match. But yeah, I'm going to say 4 7/8, and just watch it. If you love professional wrestling and if you can watch Chris Benoit, boy, this is just some great, it's such good shit. But yes, so this Rumble is certainly going to be interesting here, and I will do my damnedest to keep up. And, I'm not going to go through everything. Like I said, I've got some notes here. I'm going to try and get through everyone who's in the Rumble, probably not every single elimination, but I'm going to do my best. And here we go. Starting with number one, as I talked about earlier, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Big pop from the crowd, babyface here. And then we hear Jericho's music, break the wall down. Does the signature pose with his back to the crowd at the top of the ramp. And he turns, but it's Christian. It's not Chris Jericho. And then you see Jericho weaseling his way into the ring from behind, and he low blows Shawn Michaels. Then he hits him with a vile chair shot, which busts Michaels open, and he ends up chucking him out like right away within a few minutes. Jericho's starting this match off hot, and that is a theme from here because Jericho really is the star of the show here, no doubt about it. He's followed up by the college boy, Chris Nowinski, in his Harvard jacket. Nowinski's scared to get in the ring. I would be too. I wouldn't want to go up against Jericho. Let's see here. Bear with me, baby. Who's number four? Number four is Rey Mysterio, which, this is kind of before, Jericho and Rey Mysterio. I feel like they fought over the Intercontinental title a million times over the years, specifically in 2009, which was the year I got back into wrestling. So there's just some good stuff between these two. And then Edge is able to come in at number 5, which he and Mysterio actually were WWE Tag Team Champs not too long prior. They were the ones that dethroned Angle and Benoit, actually. And again, just some good sequences between these guys here. And then at number 6, then we get Christian, at last you're on your own. Yes, here he comes. He tries to hug his brother, Edge, but Edge ends up hitting a spear on Christian. And then I believe the next one in is Chavo Guerrero, who slips through the ropes nicely and hits a big spine buster on Rey, but then Rey hits the 619 on him. And somewhere in this point, Mysterio eliminates Nowinski, who actually thought he had eliminated Mysterio and Edge at the same time, and then ends up getting hit with a double drop kick by the two, and Edge lands like right on Nowinski's face. It does not look very good, but he's quickly deposited as we all expected. Number 8 is the Japanese buzzsaw, Tajiri. He has some fun little moments here. He's just a fun guy, no doubt about it. Number 9 is a very disturbed and dangerous human being, Bill Demott, which, as I said, I was skipping all his matches as he kind of made his debut on SmackDown because he's a glorified jobber and just didn't matter. So, I think one of them says, I'm like, could Bill Demott be the one to main event WrestleMania? No, which reminded me from Royal Rumble 1994 when Sparky Plug, before he was Bob Holly, came out, and Vince McMahon on commentary is like, could Sparky Plug be the one to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania? And Ted DiBiase on color, I doubt it. This just reminded me of that. Just funny stuff. And then in at number 10 is Tommy Dreamer with a trash can and weapons, and he gets a big pop. He hammers Jericho with a kendo stick. Edge and Dreamer are hitting Demott with kendo sticks, and he gone. And then Jericho and Christian, who were aligned at this time, are hammering Dreamer with trash can lids, and they eliminate Dreamer together. And then Jericho's able to take out Tajiri as well. Like I said, Jericho was on fire. I'm not illustrating, just he had a lot of moments where he was, in a Royal Rumble, a lot of dangling out of the ring. And, oh my gosh, is he going to hit? Is he going to hit? And there was multiple times where Jericho's feet were dangling outside and only one of them touched. And I know Edge had a moment like that too. But Jericho just was some great heel shit here. And actually, I didn't even mention, no, I did not, that actually Jericho, like around the time Tajiri entered, I can't talk, took out Mysterio. He was out of the ring for a while. He went through the ropes into the corner post. And as we like to say, he took a nap for a little while and just was kind of out of the match and came in out of nowhere and tossed out Mysterio. Boy, this is a mess right here, but I'm doing my best and I'm having fun and I hope you're enjoying it. And even if you're not, I am. So, hey, that counts. And at number 11 is B Squared, aka Bull Buchanan. And yeah, he's with Cena at this point and a glorified jobber. He gets tossed at some point, and it's just Edge, Christian, and Jericho's able to eliminate both. And I think he's got like 5 or 6 eliminations at this point, and it's just Jericho alone in the ring, reminiscent of Diesel in the 94 Rumble and Stone Cold in the 97 Rumble. They cleaned house. Jericho looking good. And then someone that's coming in next at number 12 is going to be, pretty big deal. And it's Rob Van Dam. And RVD just looking great, looking fresh, a lot of kicks, a lot of flying around, just doing RVD stuff. Almost eliminates Jericho and he holds on again. I didn't mention it before when I was talking about Jericho's near eliminations, but a very Ric Flair-esque Royal Rumble 92 performance by Jericho here with the amount of times he hung on. Best Royal Rumble match ever in 92, and we'll be reviewing that soon on one of our episodes. It's the 30th anniversary. Put that cigarette out. And then we have Matt Hardy version 1 at 13, and he strongly dislikes mustard. That's our Matt fact for the day. He's out with his goon Shannon Moore, who actually plays a fun little role here shortly. Number 14. Oh, and then RVD does hit a 5-star frog splash on Jericho, much to the chagrin of number 14, Latino Heat, and the king of the frog splash. He ends up hitting one on RVD right away, but it didn't look as good as RVD's, unfortunately. But hey, in at number 15 is Jeff Hardy, Matthew's brother. And they were, separated at this point on different shows. Matt, the heel, Jeff, the babyface. Jeff tries to eliminate Matt. He's helped by Shannon Moore. He actually lays down outside the ring and puts his feet up so Matt can't go out. A pretty good spot there. And then Matt is on the ground for the Swanton bomb. And Shannon lays on top of Matt and takes it as well. Good stuff by Shannon Moore, a little bit player here, but pretty entertaining stuff. And at 16 is Rosie from 3 Minute Warning. 17 is Test along with Stacy Keibler, which I think is the only thing the fans cared about there. And Test, obviously a big dude doing some big power moves. So I'll say up until Jericho cleans house, great stuff here. The start was hot with him and Michaels and Edge and Mysterio and all that good shit. But it does kind of hit a bit of a lull here in the middle as the ring kind of starts to fill back up. Let's see. Number 18 is the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena in his Houston Astros jersey, and just a terrible pair of pants here. He's doing his rap gimmick pretty early on in this, hasn't quite hit his stride yet. He has a really dumb line. My style's like a swollen penis. You can't beat me. Just riveting stuff, John. But JR does mention that he's a future main event player and a top prospect, so he did hit that. 19 is Charlie Haas of Team Angle. At this point, RVD is able to eliminate Jeff Hardy. Let's see. Number 20 is Rikishi, who enters his 8th Royal Rumble, which was the most of all time at that point, because he was Fatu initially back in the early to mid 90s, and he was the Sultan at one point. But yeah, interesting statistic there. He gets into it with Rosie and their family members. And then number 21 is Jamal, another family member who eventually became Umaga. Rikishi hammers him with the stink face. Boy, oh boy, isn't that how you want to treat your cousin? Stinky. Maybe he should get some Crop Reviver. That would take a little stink away from the stink face, eh? Boy, we're rolling right along here. Oh, Shota Puta. Number 22. That's gotta be Kane. Kane, Royal Rumble legend. I know a couple of years prior set the record with 11 eliminations. He hammers at Rico, the manager of 3 Minute Warning, with a choke slam. And then he double choke slams Matt, Hardy, and Shannon Moore. Shelton Benjamin in at number 23, showing off his athleticism and doing some double team stuff with Charlie Haas, his partner. Again, the ring is starting to fill up big time and not a ton of action. So like I said, definitely a bit of a lull here in the middle, which I think is kind of preventing it from being, one of the better Royal Rumble matches, but still a very enjoyable one, even though I may be doing a dog shit job recapping it. But hey, like I said, I'm having fun. And I'm getting to use this new microphone and headset that I got for Christmas. So hey, number 24, can you dig it, sucker? We get a quick scissor kick in the Rumble Spinneroonie. And then we get Booker eliminates Eddie Guerrero, pretty unheralded appearance from Eddie, who kind of, takes off a little bit after this as well, into the main event, winning the championship. Number 25 is the A-Train, Big Hairy Brute, who ends up doing some just massive spine busters on some big dudes, just really showing off the power moves here. And then Shawn Michaels comes back, bloodied, battered, with a look of determination, and he just starts beating the shit out of Jericho after he had avoided elimination again from Rikishi. Again, I'm underselling. There's so much going on, so much to talk about. Chris Jericho crushed it in this match. My favorite wrestler of all time, always better in the heel role, really had a chip on his shoulder and just was so entertaining with all of his antics throughout. He led the way with 6 eliminations and the longest time in the match at just over 38 minutes. But Michaels and he get into another brouhaha, and Jericho is able to get Michaels down, and then randomly Test is the one who kicks Jericho and throws him out, which I thought was strange. No offense to Test, but you'd think it would have been a bigger player at this point. But then, they both spill outside. Michaels does like a flying move out onto him, and they're beating the shit out of each other, and the refs have to break it up. But what an incredible, build to their eventual match at WrestleMania 19, which is just it's an amazing match. Just great stuff between those two, and they reignite their rivalry again in 2008 with, just some great stuff, some of the highlights of both men's career. And then we get at number 26, Tough Enough Maven, who the year prior, boy, this little piece of hair is just pissing me off, but we're almost done. Maven the year prior shockingly eliminated The Undertaker, and then just got absolutely destroyed in the ring, out of the ring, up on the concourse, thrown through the popcorn machine, bloodied, battered, and just cooked. And then, there are a lot of men in the ring right now. Number 27, Goldust, comes in, and, everyone, when they come in, they're doing some moves. He ends up going after Shelton Benjamin, and Haas and Benjamin eliminate him pretty quick. So see you later, Goldust. And then at number 28, the Animal Batista, who, also new in his career here. He's on Raw at this point, looking svelte, looking good. I'm just going to leave this hair alone. He goes after Cena. Cena not really doing too much in this match, but obviously he really takes off, into 2003, 2004. Let's see here. I know, like I said, I know I'm missing stuff, but hey, number 29, here comes the pain, Brock Lesnar, fresh off his win in the opener against the Big Show. Huge rousing ovation from the crowd. It's his Royal Rumble debut, as he debuted in 2002 after the Rumble. And let's see here. Lesnar's able to eliminate Matt Hardy with kind of an F5 out of the ring. And then at number 30, Dead Man Walking, The Undertaker, American Badass, back from a return after he got taken out by the Big Show, choke slammed off the stage through a table. He went away for a little bit, and he's back. And Undertaker, like I said, at number 30, he wins it another year at number 30. But doesn't he win it in this one as well? Let's just get to the final four. There's some various eliminations. A-Train, Rob Van Dam gets out here. Although I do want to give Rob Van Dam some love. He had a nice performance here. really kicking up the energy when Jericho cleared house and, doing the best he could to, do his flying moves, his kicks, his jumps, and probably smoking a few doobies before and after too. But we have our final four, which resembles a butcher shop with these big USDA choice cuts of meat. Undertaker, Kane, Batista, and Lesnar. That's a lot of mass in there, and I'm sure Vince McMahon was loving it. Look at these big beefy boys. Yeah, so they're fighting, they're doing some big boy stuff. It's pretty good. And but Undertaker eliminates Batista, so it's down to Undertaker, Kane, and Brock Lesnar. Taker is able to get Kane out, so it's down to 2. Batista comes back in with a chair, but he avoids it. Undertaker avoids it, and he hammers Batista with the chair. But shortly thereafter that, Undertaker's kind of on the edge of the ring, and Lesnar, showing his awareness, just runs over immediately and dumps out Undertaker, and that is that. We've got our winner, Brock Lesnar. And he is headed to the main event of WrestleMania 19. Undertaker, he's sitting on the outside afterwards, like, damn, kind of smiling and just, showing some respect. And I forgot to mention those two when they kind of had a nice face off towards the end. Again, Royal Rumbles are hard to cover. Holy shit. But they had a nice face off, kind of hearkening back to their feud after SummerSlam. Undertaker was the first challenger to Brock after he won the title off The Rock. They had a couple matches on pay-per-view, including a Hell in a Cell match. I can't remember the show. It was the one before Survivor Series. Brutal, bloody match. I hadn't seen it in quite a long time. Undertaker bled a concerning amount. But again, I love just kind of the respect that Undertaker had for Lesnar. Like, God damn. And hey, I would love another shot at the title if you win it. But hey, that is that. I need to get these headphones off, these hair out of my face. I'm going to go 3 3/4 on this Rumble, which is pretty good score. I think it was definitely headed toward 4-star trajectory. If the middle of the match hadn't just been a little, just a little duddy, I think they took time to really fill the ring back up after Jericho had cleaned house. But hey, I went longer than I thought I would. My goal was to do this in 30 minutes. I think I'm at about 40, 45. But I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it. And promo code BBB at manscaped.com to save 20% and get free shipping. I would love to hear your feedback. If you enjoyed this, if you didn't, tell me it sucked. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it anyway now. But I would like to improve this if I can. And like I said, from a visual, graphics, and everything perspective, hopefully, these can get a little more smooth and looking good along the way. And, probably we'll be doing much shorter ones, but hey, wanted to go big here. And like I said, it just made sense with the timing of me watching these SmackDown shows. But I'm recording this on Wednesday, January 12th, and AEW Dynamite starts in 7 minutes. So I'm going to watch that. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, or whatever, wherever you are. And talk to you soon. Follow us on social at Brainbuster Boys on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube page, because we're going to be pumping out more and more content. Take care. Love you. Bye.